Essentially, if you go back 10 years ago, there was no general public transit system in Central Oregon. So Crook, Deschutes, and Jefferson counties, very large area, and Warm Springs, other than a very small system in Bend. We determined as a group, and we were, by the way, our role was neutral convener, neutral facilitator, bring all the parties to the table, help them identify needs, identify strategies, and identify resources, and kind of then get out of the way and let them do their thing. The biggest need we identified was we needed a general public transit system. We had a few client-specific transportation services, but they were all in different silos. So they were different services for different people. And through the process of identifying needs for people to get to healthcare, to work, to school, et cetera, and what resources were in place, we also determined there were resources that were being left on the table, meaning some federal and state funds that could come into the region if only we had a general public transit system. So we had a growing consensus that we needed to build this general public system. We didn't know who was going to run it. We didn't know how we were going to go from nothing to something. And it was a pretty heavy lift. But what ended up happening, frankly, is a couple of key local agencies outside of the full group meetings, they took us aside in some one-on-one conversations and said, we're willing to give up our own client-centered transportation services in the interest of building something that's bigger and better for everyone. So this was the Council on Aging here, and a couple other, but critically the Council on Aging. And I don't know if it would have happened if the person who was the executive director she was an outgoing executive director. She was trying to leave a legacy and was willing to take some chances, frankly. And so she said, if you guys can find someone to operate a general public transit system, we'll give you our buses. We'll give you the funding that we get from the Older Americans Act to support it. That wouldn't have been enough all by itself, but that was an early adopter who said, we're willing to take a deep breath and give up control of what we have for some greater purpose. And so once we had that early adopter in hand, we were able to have that same conversation with DHS and the counties who control the Special Transportation Fund resources, et cetera. And then once we got them interested and willing to start thinking about pooling those resources, well, ODOT then stepped to the table and said, well, we have federal resources. If you guys can match those with these local resources, we can add the federal resources. So it was an amazing coming together of resources and interests to build a general public transit system.